Boom. Bah. Hello, everybody. Welcome to 420 Live. I am your host, Jeff Kravitz. Welcome. Today is Thursday, June 25th. It is 4:20 p.m. You should be loaded and ready to go. Wherever you are, it's 4:20. So get to it. Get in the right space. I'm definitely in the right space. I've been sitting here licking my wounds today. They announced that Bonnaroo is not going to happen today. Not that I thought that there was a chance. We had Ashley Capps on the show 2 weeks ago, and he pretty much told us himself that they were going to err on the side of safety and do what was right for the fans. And thank you, I guess, Ashley. We had this thing licked. We had this under control. We were flattening the curve. And guess what, folks? Not happening. The curve is going way up. Some states did great. Congratulations to New York and New Jersey. Governor Cuomo, fantastic job there. But, the rest of the country, not so much. And, the vacuum in leadership is the issue. If we would have had leadership from the top, we would have squashed this level. We would have kept it all down and fun would be back. But because a couple states had to have their fun earlier than everybody else, it's ruined it for everybody. And now Europe doesn't want to have us. Now even New York and New Jersey don't want us. You go there, they're going to check your plates and you're going to have to quarantine for 2 weeks. And, it's not exactly fun and games right now, folks. And it's kind of what we're missing in life. I'm missing the fun. And I know you all are too. It's not that we're not having any fun, but it's just the group fun, hanging out together and meeting up with our friends from all over the country at these big events that we all go to. And I don't care what your hobby is. It could be golf. It could be music. It could be any millions of things. There is going to be something out there for everybody to do and to want to do. And now we're all kind of in this purgatory. I'm ready to go to New Jersey and hang out there. Well, I guess if that's where the numbers are good, well, I might as well go there and then just wait for California to come back online. But it's not like anything's really happening. I talk to people. People are going out and people are hanging out. England had a lot of people on the beach yesterday. It's summertime, so people are going to want to go out. But, take care of yourself and make sure that you're putting yourself in the right headspace and taking care and making the decisions for yourself. Don't let a governor or a president tell you what's okay to do. You just realize what's okay not to do. And social distancing, wearing masks, these are all the things that we have to focus on right now. And it's unfortunate, that we're in this situation, but we brought it on ourselves. It's kind of like this is what it was up to us to take care of this. And we all dropped the ball. And even of all those of us that stayed home and had nothing to do with it, it's just that we've all been so confused and in such an utter state. Anyway, that's that portion. I want to thank Tommy Chong for coming on yesterday. Tommy's fantastic. I cursed myself talking about the technical difficulties, and ultimately my laptop ran out of juice. I plugged my laptop into itself and wasn't watching the power and went down to 0, and then everything starts glitching. So you learn something every day. I've been learning now. Today is show 85. If you're keeping count at home, I've been doing 85 shows over the past 100 some odd days. There's a couple more shows I've done, but as far as the ones I'm keeping count of with guests and things like that, 85 times coming to you at 420 to distract you from what's going on out there. Because let's face it, we need some good news. We need something to sink our teeth into and something to feel good about. And I hope every day we come in here and we get a little bit of that. And the band I have up today, the Nth Power, are one of my favorite things to do every year at Jazz Fest. The late night show that Nth Power puts on, inspired by one of their influences in their bands. In the past, it's been Earth, Wind, and Fire and Bob Marley and Nirvana. And it's just every year we go in there, we have our minds blown. They put on a huge production, or it's sometimes just the 3 or 4 people on stage, and other times it could be 12, 15 people on stage, doing all Marvin Gaye. I mean, it's just unbelievable the music that they've come up with and their influences. But Nikki Glaspie, amazing drummer, Nick Cassarino, Nick Egger, the 3 of them come together, the Nth Power, all the names have N in it. I don't know if you caught that, but that's what the Nth Power is. So we're going to start today with Nikki. We're going to bring Nick in, and then we're going to let Nikki go, and we'll be with Nick at the end. We were supposed to have Kunj from Justice Comes Alive, but he had a little allergic reaction today. So if he can come, he'll pop in. If not, we'll have him on another day, because what he's doing over there, Live for Live Music, has really been inspirational, and we'll be sure to touch on a little bit of that today. But let's start today by meeting my friend Nikki Glaspie. Hello, Nikki.
Hey, what's happening?
How are you?
Good. How are you?
I'm all right. What have you been up to?
I've been sleeping a lot.
Cooking? You've been cooking?
I've been cooking. I've been playing guitar and bass and drums and watching Netflix. Reading. I've been reading a lot and talking. There's been lots of talking.
Lots of this going on, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. But, it's like, it's what needs to happen,
Yeah, well, it's been a rude awakening for our whole country. What has gone on the past 400 years in the plight of the colored in this country is just.
Yep.
And everybody I know is educating themselves one way or the other. I mean, I got to admit, there's a lot of people. You get a lot of backlash out there from the All Lives Matters. There's definitely people picking sides now, and that's what I think is really sad about this. That people can't get out of their own heads to try to understand. Because there's so much culture involved with these years and years of racism that it's really hard for people to get their heads out of their ass.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, the whole All Lives Matter thing is like, I mean, it's kind of null. It's like I've seen a couple of different analogies, which like really makes sense for people that don't really understand. If there's a house on fire in a neighborhood and you call the fire department, you don't say all houses matter. And, it's like you put out the fire. You put out the house that's on fire. And like that's basically what Black Lives Matter means. It means that like we're getting killed and that needs to be talked about, and people need to pay attention to it and like do something about it,
Yeah, well, people are definitely paying attention to it, and we see things happening. I saw that the governor finally put out a thing about Elijah today, saying that they're going to go and try to find out what happened to the kid. I mean, that's one of the saddest things I've ever seen.
Yeah,
it's just.
I mean, it's too much. I've said this a lot, obviously, over the past couple of weeks, but like for years, because being a Black woman, this has been. It's been my entire life. It's been my entire life. So. Talking about it now, yes, I'm happy to talk about it with people that have not previously given it the attention that it needed, or haven't talked about it before. I am definitely all for that, but it's nothing new. That's just
No, it's been very complacent, and it's really got pushed to the top now. And people are really, it's on everybody's plate, which, there's a lot of things happening. Justice is coming. I mean, you feel it. You could see it happening in a lot of ways. Mm-hmm. But it just seems like there's no end to the amount of stories that come out, and the videos and the tapes. And every time you turn around, it's another name and another murder. And that to me is just mind boggling.
Yeah. I mean, but that's what I mean by, it's been happening like for a long time. It's just because of social media, you see more and more, but this has been, since the beginning of time in this country, know.
Well, are you since the Indians, really, right? When we came in and killed the Indians to make way, millions of Indians killed. I mean, it's been unbelievable systematically what we've done to the different cultures to get ahead. And the back we stepped on.
That's the other thing too, is that I mean, I hear a lot of talk about obviously what's happening here because we are here, but it's like it's been happening around the world. You know what I mean? It's this is not, colonization.
It's just not America.
Yeah, it's not just America. And I feel like that's because people are like, oh my God, the United States of America. It's like, yo, it's just as bad in other places. It's just
Yeah.
like, because you don't live there and you don't hear anything about it there, doesn't mean that, like we're worse than like the rest of the world. Yes, it's in our faces, for sure. But I mean, it's like historically we have a different way of how everything happened compared to everyone else, but it's the same shit.
Yes.
That's it. You know what I mean? Like,
Everywhere you go.
everywhere you go.
So
Yeah.
I don't think we're ever going to get to the bottom of it, but at least we're making some kind of headway, which is encouraging.
Yeah, we're making headway. I mean, the getting to the bottom of it is like starting over.
Well, we're pretty much getting there in a way.
Yeah, but I mean that would mean like a complete overhaul of everything, which I don't really see that happening, especially here. But that would be like just chucking everything out and like starting over, And it's just like obviously there's the government and systems in place, and it's like really hard to
Yeah,
like,
I'm amazed at the different systems that our president has thrown out over the past 3 years that we had for decades. That he's just like, we don't really need that. We don't need that. So change. I'm open for change, but that's the reality of the situation. And now let's talk about the distraction of our lives, the things that drive us. Your passion has been music for years. You've been an amazing drummer. Where did you train, and what was your early career like before you started working?
Well, I mean, I grew up playing drums in church. I started playing drums when I was like 2 years old. I started like pulling pots and pans out of the cabinet and beating on them with spoons, And then I played in my church, probably from when I was like 8 is when I started like playing in my church kind of like full time, and then moved and played in every single band in high school, and all the bands.
Where'd you grow up? Were you in New York?
No, I grew up in Maryland, and then I went to high school in North Carolina.
Oh, so you were in the South, so you really felt the heat.
Yeah, I was in the South. Yeah, marching band was definitely harsh, but it was great training. You know what I mean? Like, it was really good, for discipline and just really buckling down and like practicing and like standing still for 2 hours with a 60-pound drum on. It's like,
yeah,
it's almost. I mean, I kind of look at marching band almost like martial arts, because you just like you put the body through like you put the body through some craziness, and it's good. It's good mentally. And yeah, I mean, I still have back problems from marching. I do. I like developed a problem. I developed a C3 condition when I was 15.
From the pressure of the drum.
Yeah,
That's crazy. And what was your first job playing drums?
In church.
Oh, you were paid to do that?
Yeah, when I was 15, I started getting paid to play in church.
And how did you make the connection with Beyonce?
I went to an audition.
And how many other was she looking for a female drummer at the time? Was that her thing?
Yeah, she was looking for a whole new band, because she had a band, and it was the same band that played with Destiny's Child, and she decided that she wanted an all-female band. So then I went to an audition and got the gig.
Yeah, was that your first time world traveling and being in a big unit like that on a major tour?
I had toured before that, but not with like 100 people. No.
Right.
I've done small tours, like, I went to Europe with Martin Luther, who's a great singer, songwriter, and it was just 4 of us, and we were driving around in trains, planes, and automobiles, but it wasn't like a huge production, like we had pretty good gigs too.
So when you made the transfer, like I was really interested when I started seeing you playing with Dumpster Funk. I was like, wait, that's Beyonce's drummer. What's she doing playing with Ivan Neville? How did you make that leap?
Basically, I mean, I played in the Sam Kinninger band before I played with Beyonce. Which, if anyone doesn't know Sam, he was a saxophone player in Lettuce and also Soul Live. And then he had a band. So I toured around with him. And so I was kind of introduced, I knew about the jam band scene playing with him. But, people mostly saw me in the Northeast. But I did play Jazz Fest with him in 2004. And then I went back in 2005, but I just went crashing sets with Kraz. And then in 2006 is when I got the Beyonce gig. So I wasn't around in the scene for 5 years, And then once I left Beyonce, I went to Jazz Fest in 2011, looking for a gig, honestly. It's like fishing for a gig. I was like, I wanted to get back to playing funk and my roots, So that's how I ended up with Dumpster Funk.
And then, how did you connect with our boy Nick Cassarino, who we're going to bring in a minute here?
I met Nick through Jen Hartswick. See, I got on the shirt.
Yep. Oh yeah, the J Hot shirt.
JHB. So I met Nick through Jen and I met Jen through Dave Grippo, who is a Vermont saxophonist, killing saxophonist and teacher. And he was actually Jen and Nick's teacher. But I met Dave through Sam. It's like, whatever. So I used to play up at Nectar's and Higher Ground and stuff. With Sam, and that's how I met Jen. And then Jen was like, yo, you want to play in my band? And I was like, hell yeah, because you're badass. And she was like, yo, there's this kid. He plays guitar and sings, and he's going to come and teach us a song, and then we're going to play it in Red Square. This was it was like a Burlington Jazz Fest or something, I don't know. It was a while ago, 2006 or 7 or something, I don't know. And we played, and that's when I met Nick. And then I didn't see him for a long time. I don't know, maybe 7 years or something. And I was walking in the subway. I was going somewhere, and he was like, yo, Nikki, remember me? And I was like, of course I remember you. You're that ridiculous guitar player that I played with Jen. So we just kind of connected again, in New York, kind of seeing each other around. But really it happened when he came down for Jazz Fest. And in Hartswick gigs. And that's kind of how the Nth Power, came about.
Well, the Nth Power, a force of nature. Let's bring Nick Cassarino in. Hello, Nick.
Hello. What's up?
Good to see you, man. How you doing?
Good, thank you. I'm good. It's good to be here. What up? Hey.
It's great to see you guys together.
It's great to be together.
But you haven't seen each other, though, right? Because you're in different places.
Right, we haven't seen each other physically, but...
Not since March 7th.
Yep.
Was that your last gig?
That was our last gig.
And where were you?
Denver.
And were you on your way somewhere else that got canceled?
Well, I was, but it was only for a day. It wasn't an Nth Power gig. That was our last Nth Power gig until supposed to be later in March. But you know what happened.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, the Nth Power got stuck like everybody else.
Yep.
We're all on the back burner now. So, Nick, what was it like when you first met Nikki? When you saw her in that subway that day, were you already thinking, I got to line up with her. She's got to be my drummer.
Well, I was thinking it was great to see her again. Definitely wanted to reconnect musically. She lived in Scotch Plains, New Jersey at the time. I was living in Brooklyn. I think after we reconnected then, I think I went over to your house and tried to lay down some guitar on a track really late night once.
Oh yeah, that was after a Jen gig.
Oh
in,
yeah, in Jersey.
Yes, yeah.
Oh man, Nikki made me the greatest breakfast sandwich of all time.
To this day.
And I am a sandwich. I know how
Yeah.
to make a sandwich.
Yep.
I am a sandwich boss. But
Yep.
she made this sandwich after staying up all night and brought me to the train station.
Yep. You had to like teach the next day. It was like
just bring me. I'll sleep on the train. It's 45 minutes. I'm good.
yep.
And you guys have created like Nth Power is just such a band that hits it. I mean, I was listening on Spotify and soul and R&B. I mean, how does that your influence, Nick? I mean, because your music is so soulful. It's almost like, I mean, I don't want to get into a color thing, but because you almost sound like you're inspired by so many different people.
Yeah, I mean, black music has shaped me for sure. I owe the musician that I am to black music, black culture. I grew up when I was growing up. The records that my mother was playing in the house was just James Taylor live album, was Earth, Wind and Fire Best of, Steely Dan Asia, and we listened to a lot of Michael Jackson Bad. Trying to think of some Brian McKnight, the first Brian McKnight album.
Brian McKnight.
That's an old name right there.
One last cry, last cry. That record had bangers on it.
Killing.
But those are the records that I grew up listening to. And then when I started playing music, I was playing punk rock. I mean, I was singing and dancing like Michael Jackson, like any other kid growing up. But when I was like 11 to 12, I started playing punk rock and then kind of acoustic rock. And then it went to jazz. And jazz really changed my life and opened up the black music door even further.
Well, yes, it definitely. So you were steeped in improv. I mean, was that kind of your thing? Were you?
Yes. Once I started studying jazz, for sure, and I was a young kid, and I was a jazz snob. I was like, "This is it. This is the only music that matters. This is better than everything else. Everything else is whack. These guys don't know anything." And then the more I studied it, especially studying the music of John Coltrane, it was like it became clear that there is this oneness, kind of like humanity, but it's in the music sense. And it's like this giant oneness. And once you like get a glimpse of the fact that the best parts of all these different musics are the same part, it's the way it makes somebody feel, like the service you can give. Then I was like, oh my God, gospel music is so good. Oh my God, reggae is killing. Oh my God, country music rips. Yeah. Classical is classical. I mean, Miles Davis said it. There's two types of music: good music and bad music.
That's it.
So, but your influences growing up were punk, and then they continued to just shift and change.
As my ear developed, I was really blessed because both my parents played music, so they were always doing classic rock and stuff. I wanted to play punk. I wanted to play power chords with my guitar down by my knees and like scream in the garage. But my ear just naturally developed because I was fully immersed in music. And then I kind of started going towards Dave Matthews Band, and I really liked kind of his guitar style and those kind of songs. And then when I got to high school is when I really started studying jazz, and I had a great music teacher there named Dave Grippo, and he pretty much like opened the door and was like, here's your guitar teacher, here's the bands, we're doing this, we're doing that, check out James Brown, check out Charlie Parker, check out Duke Ellington. And then we just kind of, I just immersed it from there.
So you grew up in Burlington?
Yep. I went to South Burlington High School, but I grew up in Burlington.
You're original, old school. So who was your drummer before with Jen's band? Who was playing drums in Jen's band?
Well, Jen's band, so a good friend of mine, his name's Connor Elms. He's also a Vermonter. Great drummer, lives in Brooklyn. He is from the Northeast Kingdom in Vermont, same place as Jennifer, which borders New Hampshire and Canada. Affectionately referred to as the Sticks by us city folk.
The Sticks. Oh yeah.
Oh, fucking right, bud. Sorry, I don't know if you could swear on here.
Yeah, it's fine. Don't worry about it.
Connor, Jenny had Connor in the band at that point. I was in high school, so I couldn't go on the road with her. She had another couple guitar players too, and yeah.
Well, amazing. And then how did you find Nick Elgar? How did he fit in?
Who?
Nick, your bass player? Nick Edgar.
Nate
sorry.
Edgar.
Yeah, sorry.
Nate Edgar. That would be a Nikki.
Nate. Yes.
Yeah, Nikki knew him in Boston.
Yeah, I met Nate when I was like 18 in Boston. I was at Berkeley. Nate didn't go to Berkeley. He went somewhere else. I can't remember. He went somewhere in New Hampshire, and he's from New Hampshire.
Right.
He's from Hampton Beach.
Oh, yeah.
But I just met him playing in Wally's. A lot of people know where Wally's is or what Wally's is. But Nate and I, we were like, we would hang out and we like knew each other. We never like were in bands together. But then we started writing like rock music together with one of my other best friends, Aaron Bellamy. And we just like wrote together for a really long time and would randomly play here and there. Because he was in a reggae band called John Brown's Body for over a
Great
decade.
band.
Yeah, and I knew those guys as well. They're from well, the band originated in Ithaca, but some of the cast were in Boston. Like Brian Thomas was once in the band, but he went to school in Ithaca, so he was in the band. And C Money, I don't know if everybody knows who C Money is, but he was in a band called Slightly Stupid, but he was in John Brown's Body before that. So there's like a connection with John Brown's Body. Like I've known all those dudes like since I was a kid too. And Nate joined the band after Scotty Palmer passed away. And we just played around Boston. And then when I came back to the jam scene, he was like, yo, man, I really want to like play some funk and some other stuff. So just like call me when you have any gigs. I was like, bro, I'll call you for whatever I got. So I went to New Orleans when I was, looking for a gig. I found one, but then the next year started doing like random stuff like the BOC All-Stars and whatever. And I told Nate, I was like, if you get to New Orleans, like, I'll find you a place to stay and I'll find you a couple gigs. You know what I mean? Just like get down here. So actually Jen needed a bass player for the gig at the Maple Leaf. And I was like, I know a guy, I was like, this is perfect. I got him that gig. And then like I scrounged up a couple of other gigs and he came down. And that's when he met Nick, actually.
That was the beginning of the Nth Power.
That was the beginning of the Nth Power.
What year was that?
2012. That was 2012.
And then you guys started playing together, and that the rest is.
Yeah, pretty much. That was it.
Nikki had a gig with Fireworks Productions that she called us.
Chris Rogers.
Was it your gig, Nikki?
Yeah, well, it was my gig. It was like me, basically the band. It was me, Eddie Roberts,
Shreddy Roberts,
and Nigel.
Yeah, and Nigel.
And then Nick was there, and I was like, dude, let's play that song.
So I write songs, and Nikki has always been like, send me your song, I'll learn it. Fucking, we don't have to rehearse, we'll do it on the gig. I got you, let's go.
Yeah.
Which most people don't have the balls to do. It's awesome. And the music is not like super straightforward.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like you got to learn the shit. And she learned it. And she learned the one I did with Jen too 100 years ago. It was like we did it.
Yep.
And wait, the first time you played it together was you're on stage?
Yeah. She's like, ready? I was like, yeah. I was like, sure you want to do this? She's like, yeah, ready? I was like, yeah. She's like, 1, 2, 3. I was like, oh shit, here we go.
It was so funny because I remember that moment of Nick walking on stage and meeting Nate. Yeah. Like walking on stage, we're like, hey, what's up, man? Yeah, I'm Nick. Yeah, and Nate's like, what's up, bro? And then we played the song and it was like, okay. But then we had another gig. We had a gig with Jen.
Real gig.
And that's really when it happened. When we played at the Maple Leaf at 6 a.m. or whatever, the last night of Jazz Fest. And we all just, hey, cheers.
Cheers, guys.
And we all kind of looked at each other and was like, "This is a band. We should play."
And so you started playing in 2012, and then when did your late night excursions where you started becoming other bands happen?
The first, let me see. The first one was 2016. That's when we did Earth, Wind, and Fire. So basically, like, we weren't really a band until like 2013 is kind of when the Nth Power became like an actual band, right?
We released,
but we weren't touring. Everybody, I was still in Dumpster Funk. Nigel was still in Lettuce. Nate was still in John Brown's Body, and Nick was playing with Big Daddy Kane. Like, we were kind of all over the place, you know. And then September of 2014 is when we decided that we were like gonna be a band and go travel around, and that was gonna be our main thing.
And then what was the inspiration for doing like these different shows? Like every year at Jazz Fest, you guys do like a late night extravaganza at One Eyed Jack's. It's been, right? That's been the location. And it's been Earth, Wind, and Fire. Bob Marley was, I want to say Marvin Gaye. Is that right? Nirvana.
And
there's one I'm missing though.
Marvin Gaye.
Marvin Gaye. That's the order, right?
Yep.
Well, Nirvana was the biggest departure I'd ever seen for you guys.
Yeah, awesome. Which it was a departure for our audience, but not for us.
Well, because you're all punk rockers at home, right?
You know what I mean? Like, Nick knew that shit. I did too. Studied it. Nate did too. Like, that's us. Yeah. You know.
But not only did you play it, but you also took it outside in the jam land, which is something I've never seen. I mean, I see people play Nirvana songs all the time. I've never seen it turn into like extended jams of Nirvana riffs, which was just mind-boggling at the time.
I mean, Helen Gillette is a super boss, super dope cellist that Nikki introduced us to. But we really wanted to have cello be a part of it, like their famous MTV Unplugged album. But she's such an incredible improviser and a music aficionado that she was able to, that with all of our powers combined, it was really some teleportation shit.
Yeah, it certainly was. And I've asked you this privately, Nick, but any plans to let that loose on the world?
Yeah, actually, we released one of the videos finally. We released one of the videos finally for Quarantine Comes Alive online festival that took place last month or earlier this month.
Yeah.
Recently, to raise money for frontline workers and get
COVID relief.
Right.
So we released videos that we did with that. We would like to send that out or do some more stuff and put that out into the world a little bit more.
Yeah, I mean, because it's one of a kind performance, and your channeling of Kurt Cobain that night, your look, the glasses, the hair, like everything was just like, I'm like, is that Nick? I mean, I couldn't even make it out.
I was feeling it.
You were feeling it, man. You actually became in there. And then in the same stretch, when I saw you do Earth, Wind, and Fire, I mean, and Marvin Gaye, with 15 people on stage, how many people were in that band?
Close to
something like
12, 13, yeah.
And do you rehearse everybody, or is it the same type of thing the way Nikki learned? You just send everybody their parts and they got to learn them?
This is highly rehearsed.
Highly rehearsed.
Yeah,
yeah. A lot of time in the studio. And it shows. I mean, all those shows are at such a level. And it's an intimate space. I mean, that's the kind of show you could play in a huge room, and you guys save it up for that intimate Jazz Fest crowd, and everybody absolutely loves that shit. So I really what did you have planned for this year? You want to tell us, or you didn't?
This one's I don't think we can leak that yet.
Yeah, we can't. I mean, we can, because I mean, it's what it was. That's what we were going to do, the Gap Band.
We're going to do the Gap Band.
Really?
Which it's interesting that everybody's talking about, you know, the Gap Band right now, because you know, they're from Tulsa.
Yeah.
You know, and a lot of people didn't know the historical you know, importance behind the name, and even some of the songs, the messaging in the songs, you know.
What was it? Because I'm not really familiar with it.
Well, I mean, I guess it was 99 years ago right now. Tulsa was the home of Black Wall Street,
Right.
you know, which was an affluent black community. We had our own banks and our own businesses and everything, and then a white mob came and burned it all down.
Greenwood Avenue, correct?
Yeah, Greenwood,
Yes.
Archer, and Pine.
Right.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
that's what GAP stands for, is Greenwood, Archer, and Pine.
Oh, gotcha.
You know, so they dedicated, you know, their name is in reference to, you know, what happened there, and even some of the songs. You know, you dropped a bomb on me.
Yeah, but it was good. It was definitely good time party music, right? They were hiding the message in a party
Messages in the
vibe.
music. Yeah, messages in the music. You know, and that's our job. You
Right.
know what I mean? That's what we're here for. That's what we do. You know. But yeah, this year we were gonna do the Gap Band. We were going to do it.
We're gonna do it. We're gonna go. It's gonna be a good show next year.
Next year, and we'll all be there for sure.
Next year we're definitely gonna do it.
Yeah,
It's gonna happen.
we got a whole.
Have you played any of those songs before live?
Couple times in Australia, we played one
Yeah, we played early in the morning.
early in the morning.
Played Humping.
Pumping.
I've played a lot of Gap Band songs because I'm a huge fan. Gap Band was one of the first secular bands that I ever listened to as a kid. My dad, I grew up in church, and I grew up playing gospel music, which I said before, but I wasn't really exposed to secular music. But when I was 15, my dad, we went on a road trip, and he introduced me to Van Halen, played me 1984, and Eve 6, Rage Against the Machine, the Gap Band, and the
All
OJ.
on that drive.
On that drive, and Smashing Pumpkins, and all in that drive, and the Gap Band just grabbed me. You know, everything else did too. Clearly, everything else grabbed me as well. Rage Against the Machine, definitely, which kind of led, through the grunge and the Nirvana rabbit hole. You know, I remember getting in utero when I was 16. You know what I mean? That was all in that same time. But the Gap Band was the first funk R&B music that I'd heard, before, that I was deeply immersed in. And they're one of my favorite bands, one of my biggest influences. So I was really excited to do that this year. And my dreams were shattered.
Yeah, all of our dreams were shattered. You kidding me? No Jazz Fest? Come on, that's sacrilege. No Bonnaroo, no Outside Lands. One thing after another canceling. It's like I said, all our fun.
That's the other thing, man. We were gonna do Nirvana again at Electric Forest this year, and we were super excited about that because we had Skerrick was on that show as well.
Right.
And I'm not sure if people really know the depth of Skerrick.
Oh,
yeah,
because
but he's from that time with Kurt, with all those guys.
So he's from Washington State. Is that?
He's from Seattle.
He's from Seattle.
Wow.
Yeah, and he's the age of that. He's that.
Yeah.
Wow. He's a crazy talent.
Yep, he's the man.
So you guys really stepped up for Quarantine Comes Alive, and that raised money for the COVID frontline workers. And now this weekend you're doing Justice Comes Alive. Tell us what's going on.
Yeah, Justice Comes Alive is going to be amazing. Basically, myself, Sput, Nigel Hall, James Casey, and Ari Fink we're hosting the event, and we're interviewing lots of amazing musicians that have been fighting the fight for a very long time, people that we've looked up to, our heroes and heroines, and we're raising money. We're raising money for these organizations to fight injustice, and the lineup is crazy. The lineup is pretty awesome. So I'm excited. I'm really honored to be a part of it and help like put it all together. It was really it's really awesome. It's gonna be great. So you guys, everybody, please tune in, and I believe you can donate whatever you want, you know, and you can watch all day. It's gonna be an all day event.
How many? What time to start?
You know, I don't know. I think noon
Noon. And what
starts.
what are you guys doing, Nick? What do you got planned?
Well, we got a debut of something we put together for the show, special for the show. It's the original Nth Power lineup, so that features Nikki, Nate, myself, and Nigel Hall and Weedy Bryma. Good Reverend Dr. Nigel Hall and Bishop Weedy Bryma.
Hey,
So we put together some new content for this. Yeah, we're psyched to show it.
Yeah,
yeah, you're doing something with Jen and Christian McBride, right?
Yep, Jennifer Hartswick and Christian McBride and myself recorded an album a couple years ago, and and Jenny and I opened for him and his jazz trio at the Ardmore Music Hall outside of Philly a year ago or something, and there was some video taken of that. So we're gonna debut a song that we played from that concert.
Nice.
I mean, I'm still watching the videos from Quarantine Comes Alive. I mean, it was such an amazing day of music, and one will come by and I'll watch it. And it's amazing how we're all getting together to watch everybody we love get together to try to draw attention to the causes and just line up these incredible, like everybody's sitting home. So you have access to people that you normally wouldn't have access to.
Really
This is true. This is very true.
Like me having access to you two guys.
Yeah, we're just sitting at the crib.
Everybody's just sitting around like, you want to come on? You're like, I'm not doing anything else, Kravitz. Let's talk.
I'm like, let me check my calendar.
I know. He's like, you want to do Thursday? I was like, sounds great.
Yep.
Yeah, but you'd be surprised how many people are like, oh, I'm too busy. Or some people don't want to talk. You know, they don't feel it's right to say anything. And let's face it, everybody and their mother's been putting their foot in their mouth. So like every day I come on the air and I feel like I'm walking on eggshells because you say one wrong thing and you're out of a career.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Yeah, I hear you.
It's gotten very sensitive.
Yeah, yes, it has.
And that's one thing I do appreciate, though, in my experience lately, speaking out more and more about social injustice and racial inequality and systemic racism. A lot of white people say to me, like they're worried about saying the wrong thing sometimes. But a lot of people of color that I've talked to, it's like when your heart's in the right place, it's like people of color are used to white people saying dumb shit.
Yeah, for sure.
The more we talk about this, the better everybody's gonna get at it, you know.
Yeah. You know, the dialogue's open.
True.
People
are true. I mean, that's what I always say. It's like it depends on the intent behind what you're saying.
The intent.
You know what I mean? It's like people generally get it generally, and if they don't, then it's okay. You can, say what you mean.
Well, we're watching everybody get it on TV. Every time I turn on, there's another Karen getting smacked upside the head. Yeah. I'm like, come on.
That's straight racism.
It's unbelievable. Like, don't people know that these cameras are like, you do something stupid, everybody's going to see it. I mean, come on. People just don't get it, though. It amazes me.
Yeah.
They step up. They step up. Well, Nikki, I'm going to let you go. Thank you so much. And we're going to stick with Nick and try to talk him into playing a song for us.
Yeah.
We look forward to seeing you. I look forward to seeing all of you guys together playing music. Thank you so much for coming on. Is there anything you want to plug or talk or tell us about besides Justice Comes Alive?
No, actually, this will be the debut of the OGs. A lot of people have not, in our scene, a lot of people haven't heard of the band, but it's basically a combination of like the Beyonce band, the band that I toured around with for 5 years, and also Kat Dyson. She played with Prince and Cyndi Lauper and like a whole bunch of people. But it's just us together trying to make some noise, making some music. So this will be our debut to the scene, and I hope that everybody enjoys it.
Well, thank you, Nikki, and we look
Yeah.
forward to seeing you soon. Thanks for coming on today.
No problem.
All right,
Love you guys.
love you
Love
too.
you,
See you
Nikki.
later.
Peace out.
There she goes, Nikki G. How lucky are you?
Lucky, very lucky, quite
I
lucky.
mean, come on. I mean, she's the most badass drummer on the planet, I think. And that's saying a lot because there's a lot of great drummers out there, but male or female, black, white, green, yellow, purple, nobody can touch it.
And now she rips.
She rips it up. So what have you been doing with your time? You've been writing a lot?
Yep, definitely writing a lot. I'm trying to just trying to figure out how to survive financially in terms of like how to make now. I mean, because a lot of people I know still have jobs, which is good for them. But our job was to tour and play live venues, so that our job is definitely on hold. So kind of just trying to become a better engineer for myself. I got a pretty good recording setup going now. And
trying to figure out how to drive revenue from it.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, everybody's playing with the donate button on. I mean, George Porter's up totally. Everybody's doing the raising money for themselves. And I think the fans are stepping up.
Fans are stepping up for the most part, I'd say. We started off really strong 14 weeks ago when we started our quarantine concerts. But inevitably, things have gone down a little bit, but
it's a long time. I don't think anybody was planning on this. It's funny. I talked to a couple of promoters, and they said that not a lot of fans have asked for their money back on a lot of shows that got canceled. They were letting the bands keep the money, which I thought was that it was like 15% return or something like that, which I think is really interesting. So
it's really great. People are so generous in our scene, especially.
Yeah. Well, we're with you. Anything we could do to help, Nick? I'm down. I could loan you a couple dollars.
I'm in.
We'd love to hear a song or two from you if you don't mind.
Yes.
You got one? You got one for us? I'm going to pull myself off the screen and I'm going to leave Nick in charge, guys. Nick Cassarino, ladies and gentlemen. I'll let you get all situated here. And this was Nick's idea. I just want you to know. There you go.
How's it sound? Can you hear the guitar in there?
Yes, it sounds fucking great. All right, folks. We'll be back in a minute. Go ahead, Nick.
All right. All right, y'all. This is a song, Nth Power song called Joy. Sorry, I got to tune this up. Sorry, Jeff.
That's all right. Do your thing, man.
Thank you.
We're here with
there
you.
You go.
You got it?
Ready. I got it.
Ready?
Sorry about that. Here we go. Joy, I'm on a mission, y'all. Bringing rays like the morning sun. 'Cause life can come and go and be given and taken away. So I bring rays like the morning sun. Rain showers in the hot summer night from the red skies of the sky. I feel not the rain on my fellow man. We're all on a mission, y'all. Something watches from above and below and within. We warriors arise with joy. Oh, in time, we love like a roaring river. Yes, in time, our joy overcomes. Ooh, in time, we roar like a tidal ocean. Oh, in time, a joyful song is sung. That's all right, yeah. Oh, I got a good feeling this evening. Deep in my bones, I got a good feeling everything is gonna be alright. keeping on. Step by step, day by day, I keep faith in that my strength will never, never, never fade. Now, if you ever feel weak or troubled, well, if you ever feel lonely or despair, remember that love is all around you. Raise like the morning sun. Oh, in time. We roar like a flowing river. Yes, in time, our joy overcomes. Ooh, in time, we roar like a tidal ocean. Oh, in time, a joyful song is sung. Ooh, 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 ooh. La da da ya, la da 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 da, la da 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 da. Sing a song of joy and peace, a song of hope and love and fire that never, never does cease, oh God. To those lost and forsaken, hopeless, ever God, and I remember it's gonna come around. I have been through some dark times, but nothing compares to some brothers and sisters. I send peace to those alone. Yeah. Through song, the hand of God does correct our holy souls. Whoa, whoa. I am here to bring you joy. I am here to move your heart. Oh, oh, oh. La, da, da, ba, ya. I am here to bring you joy. I am here to move your heart. Ooh, oh, yeah. Ooh. Oh, in time, we love like a roaring river. Yes, in time, our joy overcomes. Oh, in time, we roar like a tidal ocean. Oh, in time, a joyful song is song. That's all right now. The warriors arise with joy.
Wow. That is beautiful. Bringing
Thanks,
some
brother.
joy.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm geeking out. Is that an ES-175D? What is that?
Straight up ES-175.
That thing is beautiful.
Yeah, dude, it's a good one.
Steve Howe played that, right? Isn't that what?
Yeah.
That was his guitar.
Yep.
I'm a total geek for that guitar. How long have you had that thing?
I've had it since 2001.
What year is it?
I'm pretty sure it's like like late 90s.
Late 90s. It's a reissue.
It's a reissue, yes.
Yeah, beautiful. Sounds phenomenal. The song was great.
Thanks.
I mean, you know, if people want to know your PayPal, do you want to give it out?
Sure. I mean, shit.
You want to?
Should I post
a comment?
Can I post it in the comment?
Oh, here, just tell me, and I see if you could probably comment to me, and I could cut and paste it.
I mean, it's just an email, right? There we go.
Yeah, or what is it?
So let me post it in the comment and see if it works. Nicholas Cassarino 77 @gmail. That go?
Let me see. Hold on. Let me look in the private chat because I think that's.
I think it is private.
Yeah, that's fine. I can cut and paste it.
Oh, live comments. Here's everybody. Hey, y'all. How y'all doing?
See, can you go in there and comment?
I'm in there. I hear it's. Some.
Hold on.
Says I can't comment because I'm not.
I got you. Here we go.
Okay, sorry about that. Thanks a lot, guys.
That's all right. There it is. That's right. Right.
Mm-hmm. Sure is.
All right. There you go, folks. You want to send Nick a little tip for his song? We love that.
Appreciate that, guys. Thanks a lot.
Well, Nick, thank you. I mean, Nth Power brings so much joy to everybody. You guys are on top of the social issues. Like, I'm going back and checking out your songs like Truth. I mean, you guys have been on this social message way before this stuff happened. So tip of the hat to you guys for already being where you need to be.
Hey, man, as far as I'm concerned, if you're an artist, you got a microphone. It's your responsibility to come with it and try to help people.
Yeah, you're doing a great job. We look forward to seeing you this weekend on Justice Comes Alive, and we're tuned in. So you have anything you want to come back to talk about, let us know, man.
Thank you so much.
All right.
Appreciate
Thanks, everybody.
Guys. Have a good one.
Nick Cassarino, ladies and gentlemen. Nth Power out. See you soon, buddy. I want to thank Jen Hartswick for introducing me to Nikki and Nick and the Nth Power. Jen's a good old friend of mine, and we've been seeing music and having fun, and I've been seeing all these guys for years now. The community needs your help, guys. You heard Nick. People, it's hard for musicians right now, so I know where our finances are being pulled every which way, but we got to take care of the people that are going to take care of us when this is over. So take care of Nick, take care of Nikki. Tune in this weekend. Try to donate to the cause. There's so many causes out there, but it is kind of amazing when you look at bands like Fish and raise close to $500,000 with their fan base, and same thing with Dead and Company and everybody else. Everybody's out there raising money and trying to center. Our friends at Disco Biscuits did a great job this past week. They raised like $80,000 by playing out in the middle of a ball field. So everybody's coming up with unique ways to give back, and it grows my heart, to see that happen, of course, because we like to see people get involved and make it happen. So I want to thank Nick and Nikki. Solo pipes for both of those guys, if they choose. And our friends at Asher's, 20% off, 420 Live is your code. I can't tell you how good enough this chocolate is. So good enough. It's freaking delicious. So we rocked through all of our Ashers, and I don't want to replace it because I'm getting ready to go to the beach, and we finally got rid of Kiki, and there's no fresh sourdough being baked in my house right now. So everybody is we're reducing a little bit. I mean, the fresh sourdough, it just comes out of the oven, and you just have to eat like a half a loaf with some fresh butter. So yes, I want to thank you guys for tuning in. This has been an adventure. Tomorrow, we're going to Stuart Copeland's house. I mean, I invited myself to Stuart Copeland's house, so I'm taking you guys with me. So you want to have some laughs, you want to check out Stuart's setup. I'm really interested to get into his studio, and who knows? Maybe Stuart and I will jam a little bit tomorrow. One can only hope, right? For all of you out there, take care of yourselves. Watch the news, folks. Be paying attention to what's going on out there. Wear a mask. And when you're wearing a mask on your face here, wear one here too. Might as well have some flair. Pretend it's like Mardi Gras. Make your mask interesting. Walk into the bank with like a face mask on and a thing. Yes, Stuart Copeland tomorrow, Nina. Yes, and it's our second time with Stuart, but we're going face to face tomorrow. And we did a rerun with Tommy yesterday, and it was almost like a full-on rerun with the technical difficulties. So we have it all going on. The future of entertainment. It's right here at 420 Live. We love you guys. Thank you so much for tuning in. I'm so glad that we have a place to feel safe and to connect. And this really makes me forget about everything going on. Even though I talk about what's going on, I still forget about it while we're in the middle of this. And that's really what it's all about, is the distraction. So let's keep each other distracted and keep this going. I'll see you tomorrow. I'm already working on next week. This never stops. Every day I go to bed, I wake up, I got to do another show. So I'm looking forward to the weekend off. Peace, love, happiness, everybody out there. The hug. Oh, that was a quick hug. So I'm all pitted up. That's why. We'll see you tomorrow with Stuart Copeland. Tune in 4:20 p.m. Same bat time, Pacific time, same bat channel, right here. Jeff Kravitz.